Listen.
And again, by definition, according to the compensatory code, is a victim of white supremacy. That's the logical definition of the word. Again, a person who is in a status of victimization. So when I'm calling, again, I'm being called correctly when you give it that definition. It's an accurate term. A victim of white supremacy. You can't be, again, without being a victim of white supremacy. That's the only logical definition. The term itself doesn't have a definition. But if you give it one, that would be the logical definition. Being black does not make you, again, you have to be black and a victim of white supremacy. That qualifies you for, again, hood.
Can you be just a non-white person?
Non-white person, again, if they're victims of white supremacy. A victim, again, is a victim of white supremacy. You have to be non-white to be that. Black, non-white, it's all the same thing. The process of victimization means you become victimized by the white supremacists. That's how you become a nigger. You have to go through the process of victimization.
Replacing white supremacy with justice should correct that reorganization process?
It would eliminate against. You know, it wouldn't be no such thing as an again. It's just like saying that a prisoner is no longer a prisoner. See, just substitute the word prisoner for again and again for prisoner. You're a prisoner of the system of white supremacy. Once you're no longer a prisoner, you're no longer again within the context of racism. Black people who are on some other planet are not, again, they're not subject to white supremacy because white supremacists don't even know where they are. They're not subject to them. If it's some planet out there, a billion so-called light years away, trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of miles on some other planet that nobody knows nothing about, and the people are non-white, purple people, green people, black people, whatever. They're not, again, they're not subject to racism. You have to be subject to racism to be, again, racism in the form of white supremacy. That's the purest definition you can get for the word. Otherwise, the word is meaningless. It has no meaning except within that context. Actually, black people shouldn't get angry when a white person calls them that.
Why is
That's
that?
a very functional definition, because all they are doing is acknowledging that they are mistreating you. But we have to give it that definition. The reason the word itself has such potency and has lasted so long is because it doesn't have a definition at all. And you can make up any word and then call somebody by that name, the word that you are using. And it will make the person angry if the word does not have a definition. Just put together any combination of letters and make a new word, and then go around calling somebody that consistently. You can drive the person crazy if you don't give the word a definition. That's all you have to do. That's the one thing you don't do. Don't give the word a definition, but always apply the word to that person. Just on an experiment, you can do that. You can do that on a job, around people that you know. Just pick out one person and call that person that name. A name that you never heard before, the name that the person never heard before. But you say it applies to that person, but you don't give it a definition. You don't say it means the same as a goat, or the same as a monkey, or the same as a rabbit, or the same as the sky or a tree. It has no definition at all. But you call this person that. Every time you get angry with them or something like that, every time, you call them by that name, you can drive the person crazy because they don't know what you're calling them. That's the key. It's supposed to be something terrible, but you don't know what it is. And that's what they have done with the word again. The word again has no definition. Most people hadn't even noticed that. Most dictionaries will say, again, the word again is a derogatory term for a person who is a Negro, black, person of African descent. But the key term here is derogatory. But the key element in that word, derogatory, is they don't tell you why it's derogatory. And that's what gives the word its power. Well, I'll go right straight to the textbook itself. First of all, you ask, what is a friend? Now, there's no way for anybody to be friends in a non-just system. That's just not going to happen. People kick that word friend around just like we kick around a lot of words. Use a lot of words very loosely without having definition for what we're talking about. It's impossible to have a friend in the system of white supremacy. Why? We're in a non-just system. So you can't have a white friend or a non-white friend. You can't have a friend, period. You just do the best you can in a system that's rotten to the core. It's all rotten. Even though, it has a lot of sweetness to it, artificial sweetener, you might say. The white supremacists know how to do tons of that. They know how to sugarcoat everything, okay? So we get that taste of the sugar, but that's not genuine. It's not genuine. It's not real. You cannot have true friendship in a non-just system, but you just do the best you can to do what? Minimize the harm that you do to people. Try to be as constructive as you possibly can, but you can't have a white friend or a non-white friend in a system that doesn't allow friendship. There's no such thing as friendship in a non-just system. It's just people doing stuff. So the stuff that you do, just try to make it as constructive as you possibly can, knowing full well you can't get it the way that it ought to be. There's no way you can get any kind of relationship the way that it ought to be in a system that's set up to prevent everything from being the way that it ought to be when it comes to interaction between people. It's not going to happen.
Wow.
Trying to pretend that it's happening is just that. Now, we are excellent pretenders because we hurt all the time. So what we do is go around all day pretending. We're pretending that we have friends. The white supremacists do not allow that. Friendship means you have justice. What means, and what does that mean? What we've been repeating in this program all the time. Guaranteeing that no person is mistreated. That's a big order. Guaranteeing that no person is mistreated at no time? You guarantee that? But that's what you got to have if you got justice. And the other part is guaranteeing that everybody who needs constructive help gets it. You got to guarantee that. No half-stepping. No, I'll see about it next week. No, you got to guarantee it right now. That doesn't exist anywhere on the planet. But that's the way it should have been in the beginning.
In the beginning, yes.
Of time. All right? But everything got off track. And the white supremacists have made sure that it stays off track.
Yes.
Because they believe in mistreating people deliberately. And dominating and getting people to mistreat each other. So you don't have this friendship.
Absolutely.
There's no way to get it. Now, some people have said they've seen some cartoons of my work on the internet that have been presented, and that it pretty well embellishes what I have been trying to say in my textbooks. And to the extent that it does that, well, that has been, from what I understand, some people reported to me, a plus. Because they didn't understand what I had written very well, but when they saw those cartoons that just repeated what I was saying and attaching my name to it, and came right out of the book, the material did, they say that they better understood it. And I can understand that because people are kind of visual, particularly in the year 2021 now, more visual than ever.